The chances of peace returning in Afghanistan are hanging on a thread as Taliban has put down the Afghan government's proposal to implement a ceasefire in Afghanistan for the holy month of Ramadan and to let authorities focus on tackling the coronavirus pandemic. Over and above, Taliban has not shown any sign of stopping its attacks despite signing the peace deal with the United States, which has led to the killing of more than 500 civilians in the first quarter of 2020. A report.
Hopes for a breakthrough in a push to end Afghanistan's grueling conflict suffered a major setback as Taliban rejected an Afghan government call for a ceasefire for the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, raising new concern about prospects for a fragile peace process. Afghan President appealed to Taliban to lay down their arms for the month of Ramadan as the country is battling the crisis of coronavirus pandemic. Afghanistan has detected more than 1,800 cases of the virus, but health experts say the number could be higher as testing is limited and Afghanistan's weak health system would struggle with a widespread outbreak. However, Taliban did not consider the appeals even on humanitarian grounds as the fast-spreading coronavirus threatens to overwhelm the country's feeble health system. A Taliban spokesman Sohail Shaheen said in a post on Twitter that a ceasefire would be possible if the peace process was being implemented fully, but hurdles meant the Taliban would not yet lay down their arms, and asking for ceasefire is not rational and convincing. Hopes for an end to Afghanistan's decades of war were raised in a late February when the Taliban and the United States struck a deal on the withdrawal of US-led foreign forces in exchange for Taliban security guarantees. The deal said the Afghan government would release 5,000 Taliban prisoners while the armed group would free 1,000 Afghan security force personnel, which was supposed to have concluded by now, but the process has been beset with problems. Although the Afghan government released 100 prisoners from a prison near Bagram Air Base as a first step in the peace process with the hardline Islamists, the lack of understanding and string of confusions is leading to delayed productivity on various crucial issues.
The current situation is that there are a number of discrepancies in the speeches of the different actors, and I see the positions of the different actors. And I think one of the reasons that they have not come to a ceasefire agreement is because there are lots of different Taliban troops. The problem is that when they cannot come to an agreement on the very important issues which are critical into the agreement between US and the Taliban, which actually create conflict inside the Afghanistan debate, that actually create obstacle for coming to an agreement. One of the major problems with this current two contracts is the release of the 5,000, which is not any sign of there is no sign of such an agreement between the Afghan government and the United States.
Moreover, Taliban has been continuously carrying out deadly attacks, killing dozens of Afghan security forces and civilians on a daily basis. According to United Nations, more than 500 civilians were killed in Afghanistan in the first 3 months of the year as violence raged even after the peace agreement signed between United States and Taliban. The UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan said in its quarterly report that fighting in the first 3 months caused 1,293 civilian casualties, of which 760 were injuries and the rest deaths, including 152 children and 60 women. The US-led NATO alliance also called out the Taliban to cut violence levels and join peace talks. In an official statement, Alliance Ambassador in NATO's North Atlantic Council said that the current level of violence caused by the Taliban is not acceptable.